Hey, what's up guys, it's your King the Nerdy Python, and today we're going to be talking Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4. There's a lot that goes down in this episode that I just can't wait to discuss with you guys, but before I get into that, I feel like I should give you a quick recap on my thoughts of Episode 3. In Episode 3, the White Walker army finally arrives on Winterfell, and the war starts, only to abruptly end with Arya pretty much taking out the Night King, which I found very anticlimactic in that they spent so much time building up his character, and he's supposed to be like this really evil big bad, only to have him die for something as simple as a stab wound. If I'm not mistaken, she caused him to drop his weapon and used it against him and stabbed him with it. So, I'm guessing that, this blade of his must have had some mystical or magical type properties about it. But, that's my theories as to that. But, the death toll was also very high, and, we even lost a few major characters like Jorah, Theon, the young queen, and also the guy with the eye patch. And I can't even think of both of their names, but those were pretty much the important parts of Episode 3. So Episode 4 picks right up where 3 left off, as everyone's just mourning the dead and picking up the pieces of what's left after the war, as Dany and Sansa say their final goodbyes to Theon and Jorah. So it starts off as, pretty somber and gloomy, and, we get a real depressing vibe. We then cut to this feast that they're having in celebration of their victory over the Night King, where more than a few key and pivotal things start to unravel, beginning with Daenerys making Gendry, the Lord of Storms in, which I was very happy about. Since the beginning of the show, Gendry was always this sort of like tossed aside, very humble and low in status character, but also like a hero in his own right, given that he's somewhat, an ally of the Starks because of his friendship with Arya. So I thought that he was very deserving of his new title. It's also revealed that Brienne is somehow still a virgin, which I find just completely mind-blowing and somewhat of a coincidence, but we're going to get into that later. The most important thing that happens here is that we finally start to see this divide happening between Jon and Daenerys, as she watches in the corner as the men parade over him, and she sees that influence that he has, and it's kind of starting to make her sweat. This causes her to meet up with him in bed to keep their romance going and his identity secret, so she can keep her position as queen. That same night, Gendry with his new status finds Arya and proposes to her, suggesting that they rule Storm's End as a couple, and she refuses by saying, hey, I'm not a lady, never been one, never will be. And so now that whole relationship between them is kind of up in the air, and it's kind of questionable, what they're going to do with that moving forward. Jaime also goes to Brienne, and they exchange a few words before undressing again, and I was just like, damn, by time, because ever since we seen them kind of journey together, and at one point I do believe they were taking a bath together, and I was like, damn, it's finally gonna happen. And it never ever happened, but finally we got the hookup that I've been waiting for, and I was just like, yes, it was just so satisfying. Afterwards, they all meet up and plan their invasion of Kingslanding, where Daenerys is in favor of quick action, while Sansa's just kind of like, we just fought a war, we need to wait and give the man time to recover. Jon ends up, ultimately signing with Daenerys, which causes Sansa and Arya to become upset and need a word with them. And this conversation that Jon pretty much reveals his secret identity to them. So Sansa in turn tells Tyrion, who in turn tells Varys, and as Varys says, it's no longer secret, it's now pretty much info and it's out there. So now we have, Varys and Tyrion meeting up in secret, kind of just haggling over who out of Daenerys and Jon is going to end up, taking the Iron Throne. They then head south with Tyrion, Grey Worm, and Varys leading the troops by sea, as Daenerys patrols the skies with the dragons, when out of fucking nowhere, Euron Greyjoy ambushes them and takes out their entire fleet and one of the dragons in the process. And I was just like completely taken off guard and just did not see the shit coming at all. Once they swim ashore and find out that Missandei's been kidnapped, they regroup and discuss Plan B, and Tyrion and Varys are just trying to talk Dany out of storming into the capital and burning the city down. And she's just not having it. She's just like, what, this is the last straw, I'm tired of this bitch, it's time to take her out. And I'm just like, damn, what, man, it's really about to go down. The episode ends with them heading towards the capital, where Tyrion gives Cersei's advisor Daenerys' terms of surrender, which he ultimately refuses. The advisor then gives them Cersei's terms, which states that Daenerys surrenders, or Missandei pretty much dies. And at that point, Tyrion just walks forward to address Cersei personally. And you can tell that at this moment, his words are coming from a place of care as her brother. He says to her that he knows she's not a monster, and that everything she's ever done has been for her children, and that her baby doesn't have to die. And she still pretty much refuses. And she just turns to Missandei and says, if you have any final words, say them now. And, at that point, I'm just like, wow, I know this shit is not going to happen. And her guard pretty much just fucking, brutalizes the most innocent and purest character in the series. And I'm just like dumbfounded, like, what the fuck? So before the screen fades and the end credits roll out, we get that shot of Tyrion, slowly turning to face Cersei like, oh my God, what the fuck? You have no idea what you have just done. Your city is going to burn now. And, Dany just sort of turns away from Cersei in that horrific scene, and you know, from the look of her face, you can tell that she's just so angry and pissed off and just gritting her teeth like she's just gonna rain down hell on Cersei, and I just can't wait to see it. So those were pretty much all the plot spoilers. One thing I did want to mention that, you know, a scene that I thought was really fucking badass was the part where, you know, Bronn pretty much, pulls up on Tyrion and Jaime's conversation, and he's just like, he's got his crossbow, he's kind of like, yeah, to collect the bounty that Cersei promised him, which in turn ended with Tyrion promising him Highgarden in exchange for their lives. And I just thought that it was some real cutthroat type shit and a scene that just really stood out from all the rest in this episode. So that's it, guys. Those are my thoughts on Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you tap that bell for notifications. There's also links to my social media posted down in the description below. And as always, Nerdy Python is out of here.